Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your time zone. Welcome to my channel. My name is Ogbanje Joseph. Please subscribe to this channel, share, like, as well as drop a comment on the comment section. So today, our lecture is titled Intergovernmentalism as a Theory of Integration. Intergovernmentalism as a Theory of Integration. Intergovernmentalism as a theory was propounded by Stanley Hoffman and refined by Andrew Moravich. This theory is a critique of the new functionalist mechanism of integration. Intergovernmentalism is a theory that suggests that governments control the level and speed of regional integration. Any increase of power at the supranational level, results from a direct decision by governments. So the theorists argue that integration is driven by national governments, and these national governments often rely on the domestic political and economic issues of the day. Okay, now what are the major assumptions of intergovernmentalism as a theory? Number one assumption is that states are relevant actors who rationally initiate, steer, and control the process of integration. Number two, the scope, form, and substance of political integration are negotiated between states and reflect intergovernmental preferences and power. Number three, sectoral and horizontal integration expands to the extent that it increases, the utility of member states. Number four, substantive regulation of sectoral and horizontal integration is a result of bargaining power among governments. Okay, so now let us look at how intergovernmentalism is actually played out, within regional integration. Now don't forget that national governments actually play a dominant role in any integrative process or integration process, and are themselves the major actors. Okay, now national government hold the key to the sovereignty of states, and therefore are very powerful to make decisions in the best interest of states. Okay, now national governments are the ones that respond to domestic policy demands. Okay, so those are the things. Now, even at the level of ECOWAS, look at what happens. Okay, now there is actually a transfer of allegiance or sovereignty to higher level, particularly in matters of national interest. Okay, that is actually at the level of ECOWAS. Look at what happened. That at the level of ECOWAS, that there is a reluctance of member states, in the regional organization, which is ECOWAS, to transfer allegiance or sovereignty, to the supranational body, which is the ECOWAS. Now, intergovernmentalism plays up national governments as key actors in the integration process, while downplaying the role of supranational institutions. Okay, so now it holds the view that national governments provide enabling environment for other actors and equally dictates the speed and outcome of the process. So national governments have a choice to enter into any cooperation on behalf of the citizens or implement any instrument in her internal domestic interest. Now, no matter the reluctance of countries to sign into agreement, trade agreement, partnership agreement, and all of that, the basic assumption of the theory is that cooperation is dependent on the bargaining power and rational self-interest of cooperating states. Okay, so now I want to use ECOWAS, to actually analyze intergovernmentalism. Don't forget that the formation of ECOWAS is mainly hinged on the theoretical extrapolation of governmentalism. Now, the higher governing authority of ECOWAS is the authority of heads of states and government. Now, the authority determines the general policy outlines, outline for the community, and then the authority also ratifies and gives directives. Now, it harmonizes and coordinates economic, scientific, technical, cultural, and social policies, and also oversees the functioning of the community's institutions and follow up on objectives. Now, consistent with the assumption of the intergovernmentalism, the authority of heads of states, authority of ECOWAS heads of states and government has the powers to refer to the community court when a member is found to have failed, a member is found to have failed to honor any of its obligation or acted in breach of its authority. Now, the authority also has the powers to give advisory, or give advice, opinion on any legal matters, and also exercise other powers ascribed to it under the treaty. Now, the proponents of intergovernmentalism have noted that national governments are still the driving force of any integration process. Obasanjo's call in his famous speech on national government to provide an enabling framework for economic integration to thrive is a strong support for intergovernmentalism. Now, the ECOWAS Treaty empowers authority of heads of states and government to take appropriate action when obligations are flouted. Now, besides, reference can also be made to Article 26 of the ECOWAS Constitution, or ECOWAS Charter, which empowers any member states to take safeguard measures in the event of disturbances in the economy. So those are just the major things. Another thing is that besides the provision of the charter, ECOWAS is the brainchild of Nigeria. Now, Nigeria was the catalyst of series of conferences following, the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, and all of that. Now, in Nairobi, for economic cooperation in Africa. Therefore, the success of the community is hinged to a greater degree on the invaluable commitment of strong members, of which Nigeria is manifestly, the strongest. Now, in terms of commitment of technical, human, and financial resources, Nigeria has been the pivot around which the community revolves, and provided a stabilizing power for member countries in times of civil war. What I'm trying to say is that the governments of member countries are the major deciders of what happens within an integration outfit. So any regional integration that is strong or that is weak is actually determined by the governments that actually form that regional organization, because regional organizations is actually the handiwork of governments of states. So whatever happens within the regional organizations is actually decided by governments of nations. So intergovernmentalism as a theory is actually talking about the fact that regional organizations are hinged and predicated and of course decided and of course determined by governments of member states. Thank you very much.